Welcome to the Systems Accelerator Manager. If you have found this either through YouTube and you're looking to learn a little bit more, or maybe you've already taken that very first step and started a trial inside of the Systems Accelerator Manager, we affectionately call it SAM, and hopefully by the end of this, you will too. But maybe you're also just a SAM user who is looking to learn a little bit more. Well, if that is you, you're in the right spot. What we're going to be doing over these videos is looking at the platform so that you can start to develop a advanced level understanding of exactly what it can do for you and your business. And if you're wondering to yourself, well, gosh, who is this guy who is talking to me? Well, my name's Cody Stepp. I am a real estate technologist, and my work kind of sits in the crosshairs of real estate, technology, and AI. And I have built a company called Workflow Secrets, and our product is SAM. Now, SAM is the system that is currently on the trajectory to replace legacy real estate CRMs, and my personal goal is to obsolete those systems in the next 12 to 24 months. Now, the reason for this is modern technology plus the introduction of AI has brought us so much power, and the current systems that you are, in some cases, forced to use are still acting as what I like to call digital Rolodexes. That's the technology from the 1960s that we built into software in the 1990s. And then in the early 2000s, we added workflow automations, but we didn't really adjust what a CRM was or could actually do for you. Well, we completely scrapped that idea with the Systems Accelerator Manager, and this is going to be where you learn exactly how you can actually be successful in it. So if you need a little bit of credentialing, my time in real estate technology actually started professionally about 6 years ago, but I was actually born and raised a real estate technologist. I'm a second generation. If you look on the top left-hand side of this slide, that is actually me on my first day at work, working for my father, who is a 35-year vet of real estate technology. He has built two of the most successful real estate CRMs. He's helped tens of thousands of real estate agents build successful businesses using technology, and I have the pleasure of now working with him. Several months ago, I got to offer him the opportunity to come back to Workflow Secrets and help build SAM with me. And ultimately, we are building that system for you guys to help you build that successful business. He's built systems pre-internet as well as in the SaaS, and now we have the ability to bring AI to it. Ultimately, what we're going to be looking to give you is some critical wins that you can take whether or not you decide SAM is the right system for you, and you can walk away with having a really great understanding of the tools that are available to you out in the marketplace. So what we're going to be doing in this specific video is we are going to be looking at baseline setup from day one of using SAM so that you can build out all of the different things that you can do. And then I'm going to show you some additional setup that is optional, but is good to know so that you can really build that baseline understanding. All right, so starting off inside of SAM, you can go to sam.workflowsecrets.info, and you're going to be met with this screen. This is our login screen, and if you do not yet have a login, I would encourage you, go ahead and click this little sign up button, fill out a little bit of information, click this terms of service. If you'd like to receive a newsletter, you're more than welcome to check that. Or you can actually sign up directly through our Google integration by clicking this Google button. Once you've done that, click sign up, or you can just go ahead and log into your account, and then we can go ahead and get started. All right, now once you're inside your SAM account, you are going to be met with the dashboard screen. Now we're going to dive into dashboards a little bit later. There's a lot of really powerful stats that can help you and your business, and we are going to cover all of that. But for now, let's just go ahead and look and go, wow, that's really, really pretty. On the left-hand side, you're going to see all of the different sections inside of SAM. We're going to dive into each one of those as we go through this training. But before we get started, one of the most valuable things that you can actually do inside of SAM is go onto the top right-hand side, and you're going to see your initials. So clicking on your initials, you are going to see a drop-down menu, and we're going to go through several of these. But today, let's start off with the profiles section. Now, in the profile section, this is going to be where we start to give SAM context of you and your business so that it can start to help you build out some really powerful things. Now, the really cool thing about SAM, when I set off to build SAM, I had actually been coaching real estate agents on how to use AI. And SAM was actually built not as a system that is poised to completely change how we think about real estate technology. It actually started off pretty humbly as a system designed to help real estate agents build resources that they can put onto their website and they can pull in leads. So when I was building it, the ability for AI to be infused into each and every piece of SAM was very, very important to me. And so a lot of times you're going to hear me throw around terms like AI powered or AI first, which is a little bit of a controversial turn and phrase, but realistically, these are all just marketing terms. But what at the core this means is SAM was built from the ground up, thinking at every single point, man, how can I use AI to help you be more successful, marrying technology into your business to help you be more productive? So that's what we are going to be looking at. And inside the profile, this is going to be how we do it. So the very first thing I want you to fill out is your time zone. That's going to be really important. So SAM knows, hey, what time zone are you in? After that, you can go through and fill out all your broker information, all your company details, and then we're going to come down to the team members. Now, inside of SAM, you are going to have a different number of team members available. If you're taking a trial, you're only going to have one team member. But then once you decide SAM is the software for you and you subscribe, depending on what plan you have, is the number of team members that you're going to have the ability to plug into your system. Now, if you'd like to add any new team members, you click this Add Team Member button, you fill out their name, their email address, and a little invite gets sent off to them so that they can build out and set up their own SAM profile. It'll be linked to yours, but it will be their own account with their own login. So that's really cool. It's worth noting. Once we have all of this, let's go ahead and let's look at each of the team members. So clicking on this account owner, which is going to be what you will have access to, I'm just clicking on my name, and it's going to bring a drop down. Now, this drop down is going to allow me to fill out lots of different details about myself and all of the different pieces that go into my business. But the very first thing I want to stop and pause and really talk about is this member niche. Now, a niche is basically the little tiny area you focus on. So a member niche is what area of real estate are you focused on? Now, if you have multiple areas of real estate, you can separate those with a semicolon, and you can add all of them to that. Now, this is going to be really important a little bit later, but just jot down all of the different areas you focus in on in helping your clients, and this is going to give context to SAM. Now, once we have all of that, we can go to our member voice. Now, this is a really cool piece because one of the things that I realized really quickly is that the AI tools that are out there can create resources for you, but oftentimes they do not sound like you. So adding in this specific piece into SAM allows SAM to actually write in your writing style. It's going to sound like you. Now, you can do a couple of things. On the right-hand side, there's lots of attributes that you can choose from. It could be as easy as clicking on the box, and you can choose whichever ones you want. That's actually what I did right here. But if for some reason you're like, oh, man, I'm not really sure what my writing style would be. On this left-hand side, you can click this Analyze Content, and you can go into your Google Docs, and you can grab a template that you wrote. You could go into your Gmail and grab a email that you sent out. You could go onto your website and you could grab one of your resources that you use to pull in leads. We call those lead magnets. Whatever it is, I guarantee you have a piece of writing that you could plug in right here. You click this OK, and then Sam is going to review it, and then it will pre-select all of the different attributes for you. Now, once we've done all that, you can fill out member service area and then any additional information. I like to say that this would be a really great area for things that you might find in an About Me section. But once we have all of that filled out, we are well on our way to building out our profile. So now that we have this, there are a couple other settings that I want to really focus in on. And the very first one, we're going to go back to that top right-hand side and click on the Integrations tab. Now, in the Integrations tab, you're going to see a lot of different integrations. And you might even see more integrations than I currently have on my screen, which means my team has been at work. That's awesome, right? But most of these integrations are going to be things that I would like to cover a little bit later because they're not super important to us right now. But there are a couple that I want to draw attention to because they're really powerful. So the very first one that I want to draw attention to, if you've ever worked with Mark in the past and you were a subscriber of his Revolve CRM, we have an integration with Revolve. You can click this login button, and what it's going to do is it's going to pull your utility API and your user ID. Now, we're not saving your login information, but what this will allow you to do is create a safe backup of all of your information from your Revolve account. That way, if you want to have a safe secondary, have access to that. That was something that I built out pretty quickly, and then Mark was able to take it and do some additional steps once he joined my team. Now, the next one that I want to draw attention to is SendGrid. Now, SendGrid and Twilio are represented by both of the same companies, but SendGrid is going to be specific to email and Twilio is going to be specific to text messages. Now, here is a bit of a backstory on technology, if you will. So in my world, on the back end of things, there are lots and lots of different email authentication services. SendGrid is one of those. So basically, what SendGrid is doing when you write an email and you send it to someone, it is going, do I know this person? Are they legit? And if they are legit, it'll send it right through. Boom. Now, services like Outlook or Google, oftentimes when they're sending, they don't use a secondary service. But anytime we're sending through those services, we need that authentication to verify that you are legit. Now, in the past, something that I learned from one of Mark's companies was that when a company would build one singular SendGrid account for all of their users. Now, this does work. You just fill them all out, and it would make it easier until someone did something that was not the greatest. They were sending out lots of scam emails or phishing emails trying to steal people's data and information. Anything like that could cause SendGrid to stop allowing you to send messages. Well, if every single user is tied to that single SendGrid, that's a big problem. So because regulation has gotten much more broad and email is being really focused on cracking down on that kind of malicious behavior, it is actually best case for you to get your own SendGrid account. Now, I have a video, I'll throw it up in the corner for you guys. If you want to learn how to set up your own SendGrid account, it takes a little bit of time. And if you do not use a mainstream service, if you have your own URL, so if at the end of your email, it says @ and it's something other than Outlook, Yahoo, or Gmail, SendGrid could be a really good option for you. Now, if you do have one of those at Google, Yahoo, Outlook, whatever, we have a different option for you too. So the most important thing that I want to help focus us in on is our Google integration. Now, Google is a really great integration for lots of different reasons. The very first one being their ecosystem is free. So you can go ahead and you can get set up for a Google account, and it's going to be free. There's just a little bit of setup, but if you need a service, this is going to be it. Setting up our Google is really important because this is going to allow us to send messages out via SAM. So go ahead and click this add authorization, and a pop-out window is going to pop up. From here, you can sign in to your specific Google account. You can actually sign into multiple Google accounts, and then your Google account is going to be added right there. Now, I had already added my account, but basically what we are doing, just like I talked about in SendGrid, they need to verify that you're a person who is got permission to be sending things. Google is actually going to say, hey, Sam would like to send things via your Gmail. Is that okay with you? And that's going to be what we're doing. Now, the other thing that's really cool about Google is we have what is called a two-way Google Sync. Now, what this means is you can sync your contacts from SAM to your Google contacts, and you can sync your Google contacts into SAM. You can also sync your calendar from inside SAM to Google, and then you can sync your Google Calendar inside SAM. So when all of this plays out, what this means is, let's say I add a new listing appointment at 3 p.m. today. I can add it inside of SAM, and then I could toggle over to my calendar in Google, and you would see that that event is also right there. How cool is that? Now, the even cooler part is I could adjust it from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. and Google would say, okay, let's adjust that. I could toggle back over to SAM, a little bit of a maybe 3 or 4 second delay. Boom, that's going to automatically move. So now we have communication between the two that's going to allow you to move really quickly. We'll dive into that a little bit later. Now, outside of that, we have lots of other different integrations. We have integrations with Slack. Dub is a video messaging service. We have the ability to set up events through Eventbrite. And we even have access to 11 Labs, which helps us run the AI assistants, which are little task-focused helpers that are going to help build different processes into your business. We'll talk about that all later. And then the last one that we have is Letter Friend, which basically allows you to send messages to the Letter Friend service, and you can pay to have a real life human handwrite your letters, whether they're birthday, anniversary, congratulations, whatever they are. Someone will handwrite those for you. All you would have to do is pre-build the message that you want to get sent on that. Now, the last thing you might notice in our integration section, I want to call attention to, is this email leads to SAM. Email leads to SAM is really cool because what it does is it allows you to remove a software from your stack of ever mounting software solutions, right? So basically, I'm trying to save you just a little bit of money if I can by building things into SAM, and that's exactly what I did right here. So if you think about how you bring contacts into the system, one of the ways you can do that is you can email them in. So clicking this add email, what it's going to do is it's going to generate a new email address. And I can click this little pencil icon to the right-hand side. Now, I will note this email address is like the garbagest of addresses, but what you can do is you can set an email forward up inside your account so that we can follow along on this process. Now, the process goes as such. You will create a resource and you will post it onto your website. You could create those inside of SAM. We'll dive into that in a little bit. You put a lead capture in front of that resource. So you got to make it something that's really great, something that people really want access to. Maybe it's a first-time homebuyer guide, or maybe it's a luxury condo checklist, or maybe it's a downsizer's guide to being successful in downsizing. Who knows? But you build out that resource and you say, here's the resource. If you give me your name, your phone number, and maybe even your email, you definitely need the email, maybe even your phone number, I will send you this. So then as you're trading details, it's going to send that to your inbox. You have a forwarding rule, say, anytime it sends me this, send it to this address right here. And the address that it sends to will take all those contact details. It'll use a little bit of AI, and Sam will actually build it into a contact inside your database. How cool is that? So let's look at how we are able to map that so that we can successfully have a well built out piece of information. So this is all about data cleaning so that we have the ability to have good data in our database, right? So the very first thing that you could do is give it a title. This would be, maybe it's from your resource on the website. Now, someone who raises their hand and gets a new resource, well, maybe they're a B contact. They've raised their hand. They're saying they're interested, but we don't really know what they're interested in quite yet. We need to do a little bit of work to get them there. And so they're probably a B contact. Now, categories are pretty common in real estate. I like to say an A category is someone you're going to give a gift to at Christmas. Maybe a D category is like a friend of a friend of a friend who knew a guy, who met a guy, who has a barber, who was a friend of that person. Kind of a garbage lead, but we still have their information, so it's worth using, right? And after that, we can fill out type. We can fill out status. I would say that they're probably not a hot lead, but they might be warm. Maybe the milestone in which we have engaged with them. And then we're going to have date fields. This is going to be the important thing that we're going to dive into a little bit later. But one of the things that Sam is able to do is we can identify these date fields and we can actually start automations based on specific dates. Like I said, we'll dive into that a little bit later, but this is going to be a completely new way of you thinking about how to build and run workflow automations. After that, we're going to finish up with some tags, and you can add as many tags as you feel like you need. And tags are essentially a way to build into little groups or little segmented sections the different leads that come from different places so that we can sort them lots of different ways. We're going to dive into that when we move into our CRM databasing section. So don't stress too much about this, but this is going to allow you to do some really powerful things. But once we have all of that, we at the very bottom can check to notify all users of the lead. If we check this and we go ahead and hit the save, what that would do for us is up on this top right-hand side, there's a little bell with some notifications. And anytime a new contact would come in, we would see a little notification. And anytime we logged into Sam, we would hear a little ding icon indicating to us that we have a new notification. So that's a really easy way to help keep your team alerted to the fact that we have some new information. So this is the basics of what I need you to actually go through and set up, as well as some of the nuanced understanding that maybe we'll circle up and actually look on later. Now, there's lots of power inside of Sam, lots of different things that you can do, but I don't want to overwhelm you because honestly, you don't necessarily need to set up your Dub or your Eventbrite or your Letterfriend to be successful in Sam. But if you go ahead and you get your profile set up, and then you go ahead and go into the integrations and get your Google account tied into Sam, you are going to be incredibly prepared to do what is next. And that's actually going to be diving into the CRM databases. We're going to look at exactly how we can do that. But today, what I wanted to do is get the baseline of everything set up. And now that we have all of this set up, we also have a way to send out messages And we have a way for us to bring leads inside of SAM. We've got a couple of other really cool ways that we can do that. And we're going to be focusing on that on the next video. So I will go ahead and I will end the video here, but I will see you on that next video. I'm really excited, and hopefully this has been a lot of fun for you to just start following along, start understanding. If you have any questions, feel free and reach out, help@workflowsecrets.info, and I'd be more than happy to help you. But I will see you on the next video.